We're live. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and this is the Hangout. This is the weekly live stream that I do most Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. We haven't done one of these in a little while. I was at Heroes Con, then I took a family vacation, then we lost a member of the community. It's just been a wild month, but I am excited to be back here streaming. Um, and talking to you guys. So if you are watching this on the replay, I appreciate it. I really do. Hopefully, you can catch us live one of these days. Like I said, we're live most Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. But if you are here in the chat right now, go ahead and throw those purple heart emojis here. I see my man James is here. Mary is here. What's up, Mary? Average Comics Joe is also here. So it's a party. It's a party. Uh, I just said that twice and just reminded myself of a Waka Flocka song. But anyway, all right. This camera angle is going to bother me, so give me a second. That's better. Not as good. It's fine. All right. Now, we can get this party started. Anthony Rogers is here. What's up, sir? What's up? Marvel Defenders Saga Watch Time. Watch Guide. Yeah, I haven't been watching any of this stuff. Hey, have you guys been following this Britney Spears and Victor Wembanyama drama? This is it's such a crazy headline to even like consider. Anyways, tonight, it's gonna be a pretty low key show. My idea for the show is really just celebrating the comic book community. Like I said, since the last time I went live, we lost a member of the Comics Are Dope community, our moderator, Skip and Tosh. He had a short battle with cancer, and he's no longer with us. And just his passing has sort of reminded me of the importance of just maintaining a connection with the community. I think it's so easy for us, like as much as we love hanging out with each other, whether it's live streaming, whether it's like chatting it up on Facebook or the Discord server or whatever. I feel like it's easy for us to sort of um just think of each other as like a series of profile pictures and screen names and kind of forget the human aspect. But I think there are two reasons that I put so much energy into this YouTube channel. And the first reason is comics, of course, because I love comics and I enjoy sharing those with people and getting more people into comics. But the second part of that is the community, being able to sort of expand out of the comic shop and have some of those same conversations that we would have with a store clerk or like another shopper or whatever, and have those with such a broad spectrum of people using the internet has been amazing. I've been recommended books that I would never read. Or never have otherwise read. I've had really fun experiences with members of the community. And so tonight, I wanted to, shine the spotlight back on the community. I'm going to talk about some of my influences when it comes to what I'm doing on YouTube. And then I just want to shout out some of the people that I see doing really cool things and share those with you. So hopefully you find some new people to follow, new people to hang out with, to chat with, and hopefully you guys shout out some of your favorites as well. And that's pretty much the show that we're gonna do tonight. My man Richard Fearing says, "What's going on? Enjoy the content you put out. Keep up the good work. Hope you had a good 4th of July." It was pretty good. It's been an interesting week, trying to get back into the swing of thing after like what was already a 2-3 week break. Yeah, basically a 3 week break from the channel, trying to get back into the swing of things for like the first of the month, and 4th of July hitting on a Tuesday just did not make things any easier. So yesterday felt like the Mondayest Wednesday ever, and today's Thursday, and now I'm just looking at the wall of tasks that I am trying to complete. And hey, it's been a pretty productive week. I did post a video yesterday, a surprise unboxing from my homie Buckmaster B. We're going to talk about the contents of that unboxing here in a second. So that's that part. And then I'm supposed to be releasing my Heroes Con recap tomorrow, which means I got to film some A-roll tonight, and then put my footage of the day in Charlotte there. Speaking of dope people in the community, here's the comic book report. My man Dominic does really, really awesome reviews of collected editions. He has there's no discrimination there. He's like, look, if it's a dope story, I want to read it. Trade paperback, omnibus, standard hardcover, it doesn't matter. And every book gets a letter grade at the end of the review. Smoothest voice in comics. Gotta say. Gotta say. Um, Carl Weatherspoon says, you pick up the Disney Wasp cover. I did not. I did not. I haven't picked up my books from the comic shop in like 3 weeks. I need to like go check in uh so that they know I'm still alive and I'm still spending my money there and not just leaving them with a stack of books. But no. Now I gotta look and see what you're even talking about. It's out this week. I can tell you right now, I didn't buy a Wasp book. There's not one on my pull list. All right. I don't see anything about a Wasp in this week's releases. Maybe last week. Yeah, I don't even know what book you're referring to, my man, because I'm not seeing anything. Or was it a Spider-Man Disney Villains variant or Disney 100 variant? Because I think all of them are. All right, let's see. No Disney cover for issue 28. I don't know. At this point, it's probably sitting here in the Amazing Spider-Man. Which issue? Let's see. Was it issue 27? The short answer is no. I did not buy the Disney 100 variant. So last issue was the Invincible Iron Man homage cover. And this month, yeah, issue 28 doesn't have a Disney 100 cover. But next month has a Captain Marvel cover. Maybe League of Comic Geeks just didn't post the cover up there. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. But pretty cool looking covers. I was like very close to getting sucked into like all the Disney 100 variants. As a matter of fact, I think I told my shop to order me all the Disney 100 variants. Thankfully, they forgot to do it because I got to stop buying extra copies of the same comics every time, all the time. Bro, 3 week stack waiting for you. Eesh, my falling behind anxiety is triggered. Yeah, man. Yeah. Um, Listen, I was trying to save money for Heroes Con. Um, and then I was out of town last week. It's just been an eventful month. So yeah. Um, Thankfully I have the DC Universe Infinite app. So like I'm never really that behind on DC books. Like I can literally catch up on the day of release with every series that's coming out. So it's not the big deal. Honestly, my trip to the comic shop at this point is because I want to have things physically. There are a few things like with Marvel that I'm behind on at this point, like some of the Fall of X stuff, most of the Fall of X stuff, or the prologue, the prelude to the fall, or whatever they're calling it. Um, so yeah, there's a few of those that I'm definitely behind on, but other than that, DC I'm caught up on, and I don't buy a ton of indies. So yeah. Partworks is here. He says, awesome warehouse sale last week. Just had Inhumans and Port of Earth volumes in the post to finish a couple of nearly complete runs I came home with. Nice. Very nice. Super Laugh Hard is waiting for the omnibus of the Amazing Spider-Man of this Cody Ziegler run. Or not Cody Ziegler. Zeb Wells. Zeb Wells is writing Amazing Spider-Man. Cody Ziegler is writing Miles Morales. Richard Fearing has been picking up some DC books that have been recommended by other YouTube content creators. I'm excited to read them and can't wait to see what James Gunn brings to DC. That's one thing that I'm also excited about is getting caught up with DC, like some of the Dawn of DC stuff that I've been buying, picking up here and there, but not really reading. Like, I have not read the most recent issue of Green Lantern, which I believe was Green Lantern #2. And then Green Arrow, I want to say issue 3 is out. So yeah, Green Arrow issue 3. Other than that, I didn't even read Shazam 2. I have Shazam 2 in a stack somewhere in this room. This room is a complete mess, by the way. So anyway, yeah, I gotta get caught up on DC stuff. And since Night Terrors is going on, I'll have plenty of time over the next 2 months because I'm not picking up Night Terrors. Let's see. Low key happy when my LCS forgets to add something to my pull list. Helps the budget. I know what you mean. And I agree. Rupert's here. What's up, B? Sorry I'm late. Nothing to apologize for at all. Super Laugh Hard doesn't do content yet. No worries. There's always room and there's always time. Remy Q Studios is here. What's up, dude? We met in Charlotte at Heroes Con. If I'm not mistaken, weren't you at the movie? I think I met you at the Flash screening. Brought to you by my homie DJ Links. Albert loves comics. Having to get caught up is a lifestyle I know very, very well. Absolutely. Albert Loves Comics has a great Instagram, by the way. He makes like planners out of comics, and it's like your heart breaks a little bit every time you watch a video because he's like cutting up comics, and then you get to the end of it and you're like, wait, I want one of those. So I really do want the static one that he did a couple days ago. You got to get on the WWE comics, straight bangers. I bought a WWE comic. It was, what is it? Are they called the New Day? The black dudes, and they got the Bootios cereal. Anyway, I read one of those. It was pretty cool. But if I'm not mistaken, it was just a one shot. I've not seen any episodes of Secret Invasion yet. My wife and I have decided that's going to be our show that we watch together. It probably would have been more expedient for me to just watch it as it came out so I could talk about it on the stream. But we decided we are going to watch it together, which means we can't turn it on unless we're both like have the energy to watch it, which means we've not watched a single frame of that TV show. My man Steven says, bro, you posted a milestone mystery in the Discord, then left me hanging like an old shirt. LOL details. Man, if you were a channel member, you would have seen the details. Sips tea, just playing. Oh, I mean, I'm not playing. The channel members do have the details. But yeah, Buckmaster B says, Power of Positivity by The New Day, WWE Comics by Boom are pretty decent. Early issues even have Dan Mora art. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Tayshawn is on IG. He is and other things. Now I got to try to guess how many underscores and whatnot. All right, I tried to go to Instagram, ended up on In Stock Trades, so then I was looking to see what was still in stock at In Stock Trades. All right, and underscore, I think it's 2 underscores. Other things. I was right. Pretty sure I was right. I'm here. You guessed it. But yeah, Tayshawn's got he also makes really cool comic book reels. Like he does these new comic book day recaps, and he'll talk about like some of the covers he got, what his favorite cover of the week was, what his favorite book of the week was, some fun facts. Just blowing everything I do out of the water. But you fell for the honey trap, waiting to watch Secret Invasion. I mean, hey, it, it happens all the time. We've literally, my wife and I proposed to my wife 10 years ago on the 4th of July. And from the time we've been together, this has been a thing. When we first started dating, the TV show Heroes was our thing. And I feel like we had a DVD. That's how long ago this was. I found a DVD box set of like all of season 1, and we watched it, or we're supposed to watch it. Like we would meet up once a week and watch it. And then something happened, and I think they added it to Netflix or something, and she like watched like 5 seasons or whatever it was. I think Heroes only ran like 3 seasons. She watched like season 1 and 2 without me. And it's been, so we've had to like clearly establish which shows are ours, like from that time all the way back in 2012. That's when we started dating. That's crazy. Part work says if you got both volumes of 52, the Eagle Moss OHC release, both on the those are pretty expensive on eBay, if I'm not mistaken. I might be thinking about Gotham Central. What's up, Kevin? Hope you've been doing well, man. My bad, Steven. I meant to. I don't mean to leave you hanging. So, just between me and you and the other 19 people watching this stream and the other dozen or so that'll watch on the replay, I'm working on a video about. I won't spoil it. If you know, you know. Let's just say the working title is called "The Forgotten Creator of Static Shock." That's all I can give out because the channel members would be upset if I just gave all this information for free. But what I can tell you is I've been scripting that video, and it should be done. I should be done with it's 4 underscores. That's crazy. I should be done with the script for that video tomorrow. And I got like 2 sections left to write. And then I'm hoping to be finished recording the voiceover by Sunday. And we'll see when it comes out. Are we going to wait and binge them when they finish? I guess at this point we might as well. But no, the plan was honestly to watch it each week as it came out. We've just been so busy. So what are they on? Episode 3 came out yesterday. So I don't know. At this point, we probably will just binge them because when are we going to have 3 hours to ourselves to watch TV? Some of the DC books I got are All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison, The Authority Volume 1 by Warren Ellis, Superman Up in the Sky by Tom King, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King. Sounds like you got a lot of DC Studios bait. Inspiration. That's the word. Very cool. Oh, I'm looking forward to that video, Kicks. That sounds dope. Nice. Thank you. I hope it's as good as I want it to be. That's the type of video that literally takes like 2 weeks to make. And so hopefully it performs well. But even outside of performance, hopefully it's a good, I don't know, piece of filmmaking. That's putting a lot on it. Filmmaking isn't what I'm doing. But my point is, so a video essay. And so hopefully the essay is insightful to people. How you doing, Kicks? I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I can't even lie. Last week was rough. Last week was absolutely rough. I cried and all sorts of stuff. It was rough. And this week's been a little bit better. It's had to be better because I've been so busy between like work, my day job, getting caught up with YouTube stuff. I filmed a ton of sneaker reviews. So yeah, but this week I have been focused on just getting back to what makes this channel, or what I really want this channel to be. So my man Skip was always like being super encouraging behind the scenes. You know, about the type of content that I was making and trying to balance out like what the algorithm wants versus what I want. And so just, with his passing without like that voice like telling me stuff, I have to like kind of think about and this is, not unique to me, but when someone passes, you have to think a lot, or you end up thinking about like what it is they want or would have wanted, or if this person could talk to me now, what would they say and stuff like that, right? Um, and I mean, I don't know. I don't, it's weird. I don't get into like the occult stuff, like trying to talk to dead people. But um when I think about like what Skip brought to the community and what he was so excited about in the community, ultimately it was just that he wanted to have a place to talk about comics. And he wanted to use that space to help out his friends, or really any comic creator, whether you knew him or not. And so when I think about like sort of the mission of Comics Are Dope and why he was so happy to contribute to that mission, the best thing I can do is make content that is as good, as engaging, as inviting as possible. That way the audience and the community grows in a healthy and sustainable way. And that way, when it is time for creators to come and do interviews or shout out their projects and stuff like that, there's actually an audience waiting for them to do so. If I lean too much into like the sort of artsy fartsy, hey, this amazing indie comic, yes, is worth shouting out. And let's just talk about that. If I lean too heavy into that lane for too long, I risk losing the audience. And so the impact of each of those videos is lessened by the fact that no one's seeing them. And if I go too far extreme and lean into sensationalism, then yeah, I might have a ton of people watching the channel, but also those people would be deaf ears when I did shout out something that I thought was super meaningful. So recalibrating the sort of moral compass of the channel, um, I've just decided to um, put a little bit more effort into at least two more videos a month. So part of that is the series that I'm starting up next couple of weeks, called Deep Dives, where it's just video essays about stuff that I think is cool. So, but anyway, part of me doing that and kind of recommitting to the idea of what this channel um, is me getting super organized and writing out uh, my plans. So these are my priorities for the week. This is my priorities broken down by the day, and it's been trying to stick to it. You know, that was a very long answer to your question, which was just how you doing? Doing well, man. I'm getting back to it. Richard says, "Good luck on your project. Hope it goes well and turns out how you want it." Thanks, man. Rupert says, "I know you'll do the video justice once you make it." Black Comic Lords, what's up? What's up? The Black Comic Lords, if you are not familiar, is an amazing Facebook group, but they also have a YouTube channel as well. And if you couldn't tell by the name of their channel and their group and their community, they focus on Black comics, not just Black characters, but also Black creators and creators of color. They do really insightful interviews. The last one that I watched in full was the Eve Ewing interview during the Monica Rambeau Photon series, which I thoroughly enjoyed. So, yeah, man, shout out to Black Comic Lords, another pillar of the community that I'd like to celebrate. We got to get together and do something at some point. It's just, we just got to. Joel says, "Great idea to make a plan and work on using it." Yeah, man. My life runs on whiteboards. I know someone who managed to buy some pallets of Eagle Moss liquidated stock before most of it was purchased and shipped off to America. I wonder, I haven't bought a one of those mystery boxes from Zavi in a long time. Mostly because I was very salty. I was doing those Zavi mystery boxes, and I was referring so many people to them. And I applied for their like influencer program and they denied me. And I was like, "Are you serious? I literally have proof that I referred all these people to you." So I stopped buying from them. But I wonder what they have in their DC section right now. Black Glore says, "Hit us up, man. We'll link up." Word, word. Let me get my July together and then we'll talk. I'm just trying to get back into a regular swing of things, just creating content and stuff. Do they have Zavi in America? I mean, Zavi's an online store. They have warehouses in America, and they do have a US subdomain. So you can buy stuff from Zavi if you are in America. Um, so yeah, that's crazy. I'm looking at their clearance section. They got some of the same trade paperbacks that I bought and featured on this channel a year ago, still up for sale on this website. Um, in my opinion, they're an underrated place to go for action figures that you might have missed out on in their initial waves at like Target and Walmart and wherever else you buy action figures. They get a lot of the McFarlane toy stuff, and I've noticed it doesn't typically sell out as fast on Zavi as it does some other places. Superior Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 1 drops next week. Can't wait to get that. I'm excited about that one as well. It's one of the few omnibus that that I really want to get this summer. Um, but you know what? I think it's about time. We're 30 minutes in. I think it is about time to get to what we came here for, and that is our celebration of the community. And so I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. I know if I was going to try to share my screen, that's probably not the best way to do it. But let's do this. Let's let's just start off with some story time. So in celebration of the community, like I said, this whole tonight's show is really dedicated to my homies Skip and Tosh, Kurt Fisher, who passed, kind of unexpectedly, really suddenly from cancer a couple weeks ago. His funeral is next Wednesday. And yeah, that's a whole different thing. But in the spirit of Skip and Tosh, one thing that kind of came out after his passing was just how broad his reach in the community was. He was in so many comic discords. He would pop in on so many comic channels, live streams, and he was just like that energizer, like that dude who was just like, "Hey, whatever we can do to fuel this, I'm here. Let's do it. I'm down." And so I wanted tonight to be a celebration of the community that he loved so much and that we all love so much. I mean, you wouldn't be here watching me if you didn't love comics and you didn't love community. So I want to start out by just shouting out some people that were around when I got started and sort of inspired me to even start this whole YouTube thing. So when I first got into comics in 2019, uh, there were a couple of channels that I watched pretty regularly. Um, I appreciate that, Roy. I'm glad the pull list videos are helpful. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's just my taste, but I just enjoy doing it. Yes, Mike has been here from day one. We shop at the same LCS. Okay, I'll tell the whole story of how this whole thing got started then. But first, so when I first got started reading comics in 2019, I would just look them up on YouTube just to make sure I was understanding what I was reading correctly and stuff like that. And that's actually where I first like found out who Skip and Tosh was because he was doing these House of X recaps on the Thinking Critical channel, which has since kind of taken a turn to like different types of content. But back then it was a lot of like straight up comic reviews, and Wes would like grade the issues. He would give the art a score from 1 to 5, and then he'd give the writing a score from 1 to 5, and he'd add that up to get the ranking out of 10. And I thought that was a cool way to rate comic books. So anyway, I was consuming a lot of stuff like that. And another channel that I was watching a lot was a guy called Joe Ryan Comics. And Joe Ryan Comics does not publish on YouTube anymore. In fact, he kind of disappeared. Like, it was before the pandemic where his channel just kind of disappeared. And I guess he just needed a mental health break and decided YouTube wasn't the best for his mental health. But he used to post a video every single week about new comic book day and which books he was going to buy and what he was thinking of the series from the issue before and why he was excited about the next issue. If that sounds familiar, it's because it is the entire concept that I used for the series that I initially titled What I'm Getting, and it is now called The Pull List. Even down to the way I flash my thumb, the book covers on the screen. All that I got from Joe Ryan Comics, and I got a chance to talk to him once on Instagram, and he was like, "Yo, I see what you're doing. I like what you're doing." And I was like, "Yo, that's amazing," because I was literally doing it because you did it. Anyway, so Joe Ryan Comics is another channel, and then of course there are two other channels that I watched a lot of. The first of those was Near Mint Condition. My man Omar, who I got a chance to hang out with last year at Heroes Con. Um, he was just making these videos about these collected editions, and I blame him for the fact that I'm surrounded by these books right now. But it was him and Gem Mint Collectibles, excuse me. Um, it was him and Gem Mint Collectibles that I would watch all the time because Omar would do like advanced overviews from Marvel Comics, or he would do like these announcements. And but at the time when I started watching, he wasn't doing the announcements, but he was still doing like these overviews and talking about stuff he was excited about in solicitations, stuff like that. And then what Jim Mint was doing, he did a series every week called What Omnibus Came Out Today. So what I would usually do is I'd watch um the Joe Ryan video of what single issues to buy, and then I'd watch the Jim Mint video of what omnibus to buy, and then I would never buy an omnibus because I thought those were the most expensive things in the world and it didn't make sense to spend money on them. And now look at me. But so those guys, but there were a lot of other guys too. Like there was this guy on YouTube. His name was the Comic Jabroni, Edwin the Comic Jabroni, and he was a active duty military. I don't think he was in the army or Coast Guard, but he was active duty military. And what he would do is when he was stationed at different places, he would like go and visit the comic shops because maybe he wasn't active, maybe he was reserves. I don't know much about the military. I just know that he was in a bunch of different places. And when he would have off days, he would take those off days to like drive off base and go to a different shop, interview the owners, ask them like what book to buy. And then he'd buy that book and some other stuff. Anyway, all in all, there was a lot of cool people. Edwin, the comic jabroni, actually passed either right before or right after I started my channel. Um, and I ended up being interviewed by one of his friends, Just a Rican, and his comics, who would do like he would do these Sunday like community shout out days. Let me see if I can find his page. And I wonder if he still does this. All right. So let me start sharing my screen. Yeah, you're right, Rupert. I'm the same way. I used to watch a lot more Jim Mint. But now his stuff is mostly statue reviews. A lot of the comic stuff that he was doing, he doesn't do as often anymore. He does still do like omnibus hauls and stuff, but yeah, I don't really tune into his stuff regularly, pretty much for that reason. Um, but yeah, so here's another member of the community that I'm talking about, right? So Just a Rican and his comics. This guy, he was doing okay, so these are all the pre-recorded videos. Most of what he does is live. And yeah, he's still doing live streams. Looks like he's not doing them crazy often, but mm, He took a little break, but he's back. But yeah, he would do like these community spotlight Sundays, and he'd like show off new channels or interview new people and stuff like that. And one day he just kind of randomly shouted me out and then had me on his show. And I ended up going from like 50 to like 150 subscribers in a day between his interview and this other guy, Small Town Collectibles. He did a shout out of me on his Instagram, and we ended up getting together and doing like his he did this series called 10 Questions. And so I did an interview on his 10 Questions series. Um, and I got to meet him just this past week at Heroes Con as well. So yeah, man, the community around comics has really like, been a big push for me. So let's look at some other people while we're here. Here's Near Mint Condition. If you're looking for collected editions, like as much as I like to review collected editions, I don't have the budget to review collected editions like this man does. And he gets a lot of most of the Marvel stuff early. Some of the DC stuff he gets early as well. So just a great person to watch, and he gets to announce things first. So if you want to know what's coming out from Marvel on the collected editions front, check out Near Mint Condition. So I used to watch him a lot. Um, Comic Pop and Comic Pop Returns. I watch them a lot as well. They just do reviews. It's funny watching Sal because Sal is like clearly like the older guy who's been in comics since like forever and who like I couldn't hold a candle to, but I still enjoy watching his opinions on comics. Let's see who else we're gonna shout out. Pop culture philosophers. So Rockin' Robbie Billups hosts the weekly comic book review on Pop Culture Philosophers, and it's one of my favorite things to watch. Rockin' Robbie is the manager at a comic shop, and so he reads basically every book. Like you can't convince me that there's a book he doesn't read. Although he says he drops titles, I don't know if I believe him. But Rockin' Robbie does the weekly comic book review, and he reviews pretty much everything that I would want him to review from like DC and Marvel, so I can tell like if I really need to jump in or not. But he also reviews a ton of indies, most of which I probably wouldn't check out anyway. He likes a lot of horror stuff. He likes stuff that can be a little bit more risque or mature. So our sensibilities aren't generally the same, but he also likes superhero stuff, and I like superhero stuff, and he reads pretty much everything. So I watch his review faithfully every Wednesday morning. And sometimes he drops them on like Tuesday evenings, but he usually would drop them at like midnight, 2 in the morning on Wednesday. So like by the time you wake up and you're trying to decide what you're going to get at the comic shop, his video is ready for you. So yeah, man. It's really cool to hear some of the history of your channel before I stumbled across it. I definitely get humbled by the breadth of knowledge some of these comic tubers have on comics. Absolutely. I absolutely am humbled by it as well. So yeah, so basically I got sucked into the comic book hobby because thanks, Michael. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that, dude. Thanks for the super chat. Supporting the comic book community is important, and I agree. So I'll tell my comic origin story real quick. Every now and then, again, it's his content kind of took a turn, like a hard turn. And so some of the stuff is difficult to kind of justify. But when he's reviewing comics, he's like one of the best at it. So when I got into comics in 2019, I it was really just because like it was a fun thing to do. I was working what I thought was a dead end job. Now I've gotten a couple of promotions and I'm, enjoying my job. But at the time I was in a call center hating my job, and there was a comic shop right down the street. from my job. So after I did the whole free comic book day 2019 and one House of X, I then started like just going to the comic shop every day. And it was so crazy. At times I would go to the one by my job, and then I would go on my way home. I would stop also at Ultimate Comics Raleigh and look through some of their stuff as well. Um, I didn't really have relationships with either shop. I had a pull list at Ultimate, but like, you know how you go in the shop and you talk to the owners and they know you and blah blah blah. I didn't have that yet. So it was a lot of like tiptoeing around the comic shops, looking at stuff, trying not to get like awkward side eyes from the staff because I wasn't buying stuff quick enough or whatever. And it was YouTube that I used to sort of learn what it was I was looking at on the shelves, because it was like there was like 18 Spider-Man books at the time. There was Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and then there was Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Then there was The Amazing Spider-Man. And then there was like a Black Cat book. And it was just there was a lot going on. So like for stuff like that, I was like, well, which one of these do I buy? Um, so it was really helpful having YouTube just to learn about the hobby and kind of piece together my taste. And as I slowly kind of got over my shyness or whatever, started talking to comic book the clerks in the stores and stuff like that. Now we have great relationships. Um, but anyway, I got sucked into the hobby because I hated my job so much that I would use all of my free time to either go to Target and buy random action figures like this one, or I would go to that comic shop and, just browse their shows, thumb through the back issue bins and stuff like that. Um, I ended up getting a lot of Paul Dini's Detective Comics run going through those back issue bins at Atomic Empire in Durham. So that was cool. But anyway, um, that was 2019. At the end of 2019, I like moved into my mom's house to save for a down payment on a house. And then 2020 happens. 2020. Oh, the pandemic. All that happens. And during the pandemic, everything shuts down. We can't leave the house or whatever. And my comic shop, Ultimate Comics Raleigh, they start doing these live streams, these live comic sales. And I'm spending so much money every week, every Tuesday and Thursday on the live comic sale, just buying all these cool books because the dude Jeremy was giving all the backstory on all the stuff. So I'm like slowly buying up to fill in all the gaps in like all the seminal stories that I had never read. Everything I missed out on from the time where I picked up my first comic at like 7, and from the, age, how old was I in 2019? 28, where I actually decided to read comics as a collector of comics. Gino's Comics is here. What's up, dude? We met at Heroes Con as well. Um, check out his comics. I mean, check out his channel. He does a lot of like he does CGC books. He does like raw books that he gets signed. He does cool stuff as well. A lot of single issues there. Stole so many Batman. Yeah, listen, man. That was definitely the war. I was trying to buy every Batman book I could. And yes, Mike was definitely my competition. But yeah, so they were doing all these live shows, and they started a Facebook group. Ultimate Comics started a Facebook group for all the people that were buying stuff in their live shows. And I just really enjoyed talking to the community there. So I would like go in there in their group, and I would like I would post like these prompts like, "Hey, what are you reading today? What was your favorite book last week?" or whatever, like just stuff. Um and I enjoyed the engagement, but I also felt like I was just like intruding on their group that they clearly made to sell comics to people. And so I was like, you know what? I should start my own community and I'll start a YouTube channel. That way I can talk about stuff, have it on my own platform, and not just be posting stuff in the Ultimate Comics group. So, November 2020, I started this channel, and we've been rolling. We've been rolling ever since. Like I said, from just the support of a lot of those early, or those people that supported me early, like Small Town Collectibles, like Just a Rican and his comics, um, like Southern Comic Geek is another one. There were just people who would like shout me out because I was watching their live streams, um, and and they would shout out like, "Hey, BJ Kicks is here. Check out his channel." And so we just grew like super organically. And then the pandemic kept pandemicking. I kept buying things because we got a couple stimulus checks and stuff like that. And I would just do these unboxings. Again, I was enjoying the fact that I could use these omnibus, because I bought my first omnibus, which was Batman by Grant Morrison. And I'm like, okay, now I can buy these 50, 60, $70 hardcovers and fill in like a 2 year gap in reading of whatever my favorite character was. And my favorite character is Batman. I don't even know why I said that like it was going to be a different answer. Um, so yeah, I started buying collected editions, and everything that I bought, I showed to the YouTube channel, because it was just fun. It was a fun outlet for me. And yeah, well, here we are, almost 3 years later. November will be 3 years since I started this channel. We're coming up on 8,000 subscribers. And yeah, yeah, it's just been a wild and fun ride. But somewhere along the way, I don't remember how early in the YouTube journey this was, but I started a Facebook group, and that Facebook group was called the K Squad because I couldn't think of a name. If you guys were here at the very beginning, like Mike was here, because as a matter of fact, when I started my channel, most of my early subscribers were from that Ultimate Comics Facebook group because I posted a link to the YouTube channel, and you guys follow me from there. And yeah, what I would do is I would set a video to come out basically every week, and every week, or excuse me, every day at 11 a.m., because that was my lunch break from work. And I would set my videos to premiere at 11 a.m. And during the premiere, I would like comment and stuff. And so people who were in the premiere squad, there were a few people that would show up all the time. And one of those was a dude named, he's gonna kill me because I can't think of his real name or his screen name. I want to say his real name is Blake. But anyway, there was a guy who basically was like, "Hey, you should start a Facebook group." And so I did. And I was like, "Well, if I started it, what would I call it?" And he's like, "I don't know. I don't know." And I'm like, "Okay, the Kick Squad." But that's not Kick. I think he called it the Kicks team. And I was like, the K team. I'm like, "No, the K Squad. I like Squad better." So anyway, started the Facebook group. He was like literally the first or second to join it. I think his name is Brendan. It's gonna bug me. Now I gotta go to the group and find out. This is such a long story, but I feel like it's important. All right, going to my members. We have like almost 700 people in the Brendan isn't his name, in the Facebook group. This is going to bug me so much. Mike, if you remember that dude's name, Zach. It was not Brendan at all. Zach. Yes, Zach Walker was the first person to join. He was the one that told me what to call it. And yeah, yeah. So anyway, started the K Squad. People have been joining the K Squad. My daughter was born premature. The K Squad organizes a huge, like, not a huge fundraiser, but they organize like a big initiative to like get DoorDash gift cards and stuff like that. Um, to me and my wife so that we'd have to leave the hospital. And that was amazing. And so I say all that to say that the community around comics has been super important to me and to the channel basically from day one, because from day one there were people who were already on YouTube who were like, hey, I like this kid, let me give him a shout out, give him a helping hand. And then there were people that took their enthusiasm and in real life, got to give a huge shout out to Laura from Married with Comics for organizing that whole fundraiser when Squeak was born. But people in real life that were like, hey, let's help this dude out. And so from stuff like that all the way up to now, where, we've got like my man Skip, who from literally the other side of the country was like, hey, I'm gonna help you start your podcast. Um, the community is just so great. The community is just great. And so whatever chance I have to celebrate the community, that's what I want to do. Favorite comic character you'll never admit you like? Captain America, Porcupine, Cyclops. Cyclops is a good one because I'm a Wolverine fan, and so it's almost like you got to be like with Batman and Superman. Like if you like Batman, you can't admit that Superman's good for whatever reason. And it's the same with Wolverine and Cyclops. But yeah, man. Ferd Bird, I appreciate the super chat. It says, love your show, dude, and the community you bring. Thank you. So what I've wanted to do, like from jump, is share my love of comics with people, but also share the love of community. Like I want to share that feeling you get when you're having a really dope conversation in a comic shop with the internet. And I'm not unique in that. Most of us that do this, that's why we do it, because it's so much more fun to have this conversation live with 23 people watching than it is to have it in the comic shop with 4 people talking, you know? So that's that. Now let's get back to shouting out some members of the community, people that I watched whose stuff like influenced what I have done over the years. It has been 3 years. So Comic Uno, um, my daughter is having a meltdown. Comic Uno does a weekly comic book review as well. And that's pretty much, I don't watch it as much because she does like a top 10 countdown, and it's basically like a top 10 of what's on her pull list and what already came out. And she's not always spoiler free. So I don't always watch her stuff before I've read the comics, but I still enjoy hearing what her opinion has been. Um, Another person to shout out, my man Buckmaster B, one of the blue wrenches on this channel. Buckmaster B has recently started his YouTube journey. He is Buckmaster B on comics. He posts a new video every Monday morning, midday, afternoon. I guess depends on what part of the country you're in or world. But yeah, Buckmaster B, he's also a champion of indie comics. He's a big collector of original art and just a cool, steady voice in the community. So shout out to Bunkmaster B and check out his channel now that he's got it started out. Yes, sir. You can do a shameless plug. That's the other thing. I'm shouting people out, but I want you guys to shout out, people that you like as well. Had to stop watching Comic Uno's reviews because of the spoilers, but she's good though. Yeah, exactly. Same for me. Same for me. Mike says, I know Laura and her husband were big supporters of yours, BJ. Yes. Yes. That's why I just shouted out Laura from Married with Comics. I don't think Laura and Scott are doing their channel anymore. But yeah, no, Laura and Scott are amazing. And in the early days, they actually had a different name, and we talked, and I was like, it was a show. They did a video, and they called that video series Married with Comics. And I was like, that's what you should call the channel. That's your angle. That's your gimmick. Like, go with that. And they went with that, and that was really exciting. But I know they had like some family stuff going on. Hopefully they can get back into it soon. A newer member of the community, Evolutionary Comics. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't call people new. I don't know how long he's been doing it. He's got 85 videos up. But I just recently became aware of him because he was the one that challenged me to the 5 comic challenge or the top 5 challenge. And so I did that. So shout out to you, my man. Uh, Omnibuddy. Omnibuddy has like some of the best video quality in the game, like bar none. Um, and yeah, man, like look at his stuff. His overviews are just beautiful. I think the only person that could see Omnibuddy on the overview game, like as far as like quality of shots, is there was a guy named the Deluxe Edition that used to do overviews, and he hasn't been doing them as much anymore. So yeah, I think Mitch takes the crown. Comic Book Corner 2.0. I forgot about this dude, Mike Spider Slayer. I haven't been watching his stuff as much anymore either. But he basically has a new comic book day show where he goes and tells you like everything he picked up, his comic book hauls. She's got 591 comic book hauls. That's crazy. Organic Price Books, that's the home team. Wait, what happened? Is their channel gone? Oh, okay. It was YouTube. Um, they got overviews here. Very cool. Weekly releases, image reviews, DC reviews. I mean, they're a comic book retailer, so all the collected editions you could want, they'll have first access to show them off, and they do every week. Every now and then, I'll make an appearance on the Organic Price Books channel. Let me check back. Average Comics Joe says, I watch Two Fat Guys pull list. They do a weekly pull list on Tuesday and a live stream on Sunday night reviewing books. Where I love the weekly pull list videos from a lot of people. I love Omni X-Men with John's Comics with Kids and No Good Comics. Is that all one person? Is that all one channel name? Omni X-Men. Okay, so John's Comics with Kids is the channel name, and they do a show called Omni X-Men. Let's see. Interesting. Oh, they got to pull this video too. Very cool. Okay, cool. Joel's in Seattle. Nice, nice. Tayshawn says Owen loves comics and Matt Draper are great for long form content. Yes. Uh Owen loves comics and Matt Draper. I've been watching them both recently because again, something that I've been wanting to get into are video essays. So stuff like this. The only the only issue I have with like Owen likes comics and Matt Draper is I don't want to be spoiled. And so a lot of their videos are like, hey, here's this whole storyline and how great it was and what happened in it and why you should read it. And I'm like, all right, I can't watch this until after I read the story. So you can see there's just a few red bars, a few books that I've actually read that I'm like, you know what? I'll watch this video essay. But yeah, Owen likes comics is great. Matt Draper is great. I also like Sasha from Casually Comics because a lot of what she does is she'll review single issues, yes, but a lot of what she does is like retrospectives or like Silver Age comic reviews and storyline reviews. And I'm probably never gonna watch those or read those Silver Age comics, and so I totally find watching her recaps of them. And so really cool stuff. Let's see. My man DJ Links. If you are into CGC comics, if you are into mystery boxes, if you just enjoy collecting, whether it's for fun or for value, DJ Links has great video quality as well, but he does a lot of mystery boxes, and he's been building his comic book room recently, so you can see his progress. But yeah, what grades did he get in the CGC unboxing? You can see he's got a ton of statues here. 100,000 in collectibles. That's a lot of collectibles. I don't want to total up my collection. It's not going to total 100,000. I can tell you that much, but I don't want to know how much it would total though. But yeah, uh, he does a lot of like I don't have that much trust in mystery boxes, which is ironic because I was sponsored by a mystery box company for like a year. Shout out to Mainstream Comics and Mystery Dave. Um, but like some of these super high dollar mystery boxes, like the 200, $300 mystery boxes, I'm like, man, I don't trust people enough to do that. So shout out to DJ Links for being willing to do that so that we can just watch him do it. Let's see who else. Who else? Ah, man, the Sacktown breakdown, man. Shout out to my man Skip. Um, Reggie collects. Reggie collects comics. I was watching Reggie collects when I first got into comics as well. But a lot of what he does is straight up like, CGC speculating type stuff. Videos about like doing better in the hobby. So I don't watch a ton of his stuff anymore just because graded comics isn't my thing. And I'm probably never going to go like dollar bin diving, clean and press a book, send it to CGC, and then try to flip it or anything like that. But great content. And he's super consistent. He's posting stuff like 2, 3, 4 times a week easily. Here's Southern Comic Geek, like I was talking about. He was doing a lot of Walmart packs. He still does the Walmart packs. That's crazy. I remember I did a few Walmart packs, and I think that's how we ended up linking up when I first started out. And that's crazy. He's still doing them. I wonder like what kind of books they got at Walmart nowadays. Cartoons Kayfabe is what really roped me back in. Was already an Ed Piscor fan from Hip Hop Family Tree before I fully got back in. I like Cartoonist Kayfabe. I can't watch them as much because Ed Piscor curses a lot. And my kids are usually around when I'm like just watching YouTube. And Squeak repeats everything. Furbird's doing a show tonight on Only the Rarest. It's a bunch of collectibles. Comic Book Herald does really good on X-Men titles. I agree. I watched this House of X retrospective. Um, Furbird's doing a giveaway today too at 7 o'clock Pacific time, which is 10 p.m. Eastern. That's 2 channels. They switch between No Good Comics and John's channel. All right, let me get off of the screen real quick and try to get caught up on these comments. There's a lot of comments here. D Buzo just found Blur Without Fear really recently, really good content. Yes, Ernie does great content. I learned about his stuff pretty early on because when I got into Milestone, he was like one of one people. He's like the only person on YouTube that was really talking about Milestone and breaking down who the characters were and even like some of the rumors when they were considering coming back. He was really one of the only ones that was covering that stuff. Now it's me, him, and if I'm honest, that's all I know of, although I'm sure there are others. Joel has wanted to do video essays, but it's so hard to make the time to edit stuff. Man, listen, I tried to the video essay that I'm working on about Milestone. I tried to just go off the cuff and record it last week. And I was like, there's no way I'm doing this video essay off the top of my head. And now I'll give you guys a really brief sneak peek. I guess you could like, well, I won't tell you. But give you a quick sneak peek at the script. So let me do this and share this tab instead. And so here we are. This is my This is my essay so far. And I got a little bit to fill out here, a little bit to fill out here. And then I'm gonna like end up reading the essay and a voiceover. And then I gotta find pictures, images, video to superimpose on that audio on that voiceover. So yeah, those things take a lot of time. That's the reason there haven't been more Who's Who episodes. I did episode 1 on Static, episode 2 on Shuri, and it was like, man, these take a lot of time to put together, even though they're only like 10 minutes each. Um, and yeah, comic tropes too. I love comic tropes. His deep dives into different people's art um, and storytelling. I think the first comic tropes video I saw was his deep dive on Dwayne McDuffie, and I've been subscribed ever since. Off my shows and For the Love of Comics are great and deserve a mention. I watch off my shows. I'm familiar with him, not familiar with For the Love of Comics. So let's look them up. I like their logo, and it's a really good quality thumbnail. Hey, I appreciate you putting me on because I had no idea this existed. All right, that's a rabbit hole I'm sure I'm going to go down at some point. DJ's cool. Comic Tropes is awesome too. Hey, comics are dope. Haven't seen my channel yet on your list. Comics and Tortillas. I had not heard of you until tonight. I apologize if you have been in the live chats before. That is not ringing a bell, but there we go. Just subscribed. The whole enchilada. Because tortillas. Princess Weeks has killer video essays, not just comics, pop culture in general. Word, word, word. Okay. What was that called? I suck at names. Princess Weeks. Okay. Yeah, and you guys keep the recommendations coming. If there's channels that you like, let me know. A lot of nuance and profanity. All right. 208,000 subscribers. Oh, yeah, these are definitely video essays. All right. Some of these are definitely racy. Interesting. But yeah, so they have comics at Walmart. Man, my Walmart sucks. They do have comics at Walmart. If your Walmart sells comics, they're not in the book section. They're like on the last aisle of the checkout lines. That random like nerdy stuff, like they got like baseball card binders and Magic the Gathering cards and comics. If you're lucky, they've got a little box for DC Comics and a little box for Marvel Comics, and they're in like this shrink wrapped bag that are like between 3 and 6 comics in them each, something like that. Oh, they do have 10 packs. You're right. I forgot about 10 packs. So let's see. World premiere, premiere. Remember what was that show? They would maybe it wasn't the show, but when they would do a premiere of a brand new music video on BET, that was the little intro. Premiere, premiere, premiere. I'm showing my age. Uncanny Omar had a fascinating conversation with For the Love of Comics on Near Mint Condition recently. Bearded Comic Bro does interviews with comic book creators and some fun shows like one with his wife about guessing a character. Anyone reading Night Terrors? I did check out issue 1 of Night Terrors, kind of. I started the first issue, the Night Terrors First Blood, and then I started the Night Terrors Batman because DC put those both on DC Universe Infinite Ultra, or maybe it was just on Infinite. I don't know. Either way, they were both available to read as of Tuesday, and I dropped out of both. It's just not my thing. It's not bad. They're clearly building to something. Amanda Waller's in it. Spoiler alert, my bad. So if you're into horror, I think you'll enjoy it and you'll get out of it the fact that it does continue some stuff that was already started in the dawn of DC. So it's not going to be a complete waste of time unless you don't like horror. So there's that. The Vactorverse, my man Vactor, I did an interview on his channel, but he does interviews with a ton of comic creators and not just comic creators, but like other nerds, just people that like comics as well. So he's a great place to subscribe to as well. Geek Out with Roscoe. We met at Heroes Con. He also won something in our like 5,000 subscriber giveaway, if I remember correctly. Um, who else? Who else? At this point, I'm just throwing people out here. Word Balloon is a great podcast, as well as Geek History Lesson. Did I already shout out Geek History Lesson? Because they are a great podcast as well. I did Comic Drake's channel. He does pretty solid history of characters videos. Yes, I liked his Static Shock video. What really happened to Static Shock? Comic Book Novice. I hear that dude, a Comic Book Novice, starting to make videos again. Might be worth a sub. Unbiased opinion. Really? That's unbiased? Okay. Yes. DJ Premier also uses that intro, and I'm assuming Access Granted. That was the TV show. Access Granted on BET is where they would do like behind the scenes on the set of a music video, and they would end Access Granted with the world premiere of said video. So they probably took that vocal tag directly from DJ Premier's mixtapes back in the day. TN Rays 615. Man, Word Balloon has been around forever, before everyone had a podcast. Yeah, I found out about Word Balloon. This is a trend. This is clearly a trend because he did an interview with Dwayne McDuffie way back in the day. Like I want to say his Dwayne McDuffie interview was in like 2009. 2009. That sounds so old. I was gonna say 2010. Either way, it was a long time ago. And yeah, the podcast has been around forever. Let's see. What's pros and cons? Oh, that's Comic Trope's second channel for live streams and whatnot. Comic Storian. I do watch some of Comic Storian stuff. I really watch the absolute comics, like all the podcast stuff. I don't really watch the full recaps or full story videos they do. The Geeky Gazette. This is relatively new. It's a collective by Nerdette or Tristan from Nerdette's newsstand. As far as I understand, it's like a bunch of different people that make videos and they add them all to this channel. Nerdette, we became acquainted because when I did my review of The Other History of the DC Universe, issue number 1 by John Ridley, I commented on her review, basically trashing the book. And so I commented on her. It's like, I got a whole different experience out of this. Check out my review. Let me know what you think. And she actually did, to her credit. Check it out. And she credits me with changing her mind about that book, which is cool. But anyway, I feel like as of late, Nerdette's channels have both just been like super engulfed in like culture wars, and like they end up getting into like petty beefs with like random YouTubers and just a side of YouTube that I don't really know much about. So I don't get to watch her stuff as often as I used to, because she doesn't really do stuff about comics as often. But anyway, Daniel Warren Johnson. I've still yet to sit down and watch one of his Friday night streams because they're on Friday nights. Are you buying the new Rippaverse issue? Nah. Again, I don't do culture war stuff. Like on either side of said culture war. And for as curious as I am about ISOM and those two books. One, I find that they're a bit expensive. Like that's a heavy investment. $60 for two issues of a comic. Yeah, I get that they're basically graphic novel size issues, but I don't pay $30 for graphic novels from like anyone, really. So that's a heavy investment. But also, I'm just in this whole like vote with your dollars era when people like if I bought that book just as like a curious person, I was like, oh, what's this about? That dude's gonna be like, yes, this is another win for me and a loss for mainstream comics. And it's like, I don't have time. I don't want to be drafted into your war. I just want to read comic books. So yeah, I'm not buying the new Rippaverse issue. Love you all. Love you too, Top. Ichiban's here. What's up, everyone? Welcome, Ichiban. I'm just here shouting out all the people that I watch in the comic community. Here's the aforementioned bearded comic bro. My bad, y'all. That was so unprofessional to start eating on a microphone. The We Have Issues podcast. I found out about them from Twitter. I don't really watch their stuff as much, but this is a two-man team who are actually like writing, like they create comics themselves, and they just kind of talk about their life while trying to get this comic into fruition. Legion of Comics. We have definitely been in each other's orbit twice at Heroes Con. We've still not met. But what I love is that this dude loves DC Comics. And so he does new DC Tuesday streams. And that just makes my heart glad. So shout out to you, dude. Just another collector. I really do just like subscribe to anybody that I see making comics. Oh, I remember this guy. I followed him because he did like an unboxing of the Milestone trading cards. Once again, there's a theme here. Araco Braddock does basically same day comic reviews. I haven't really watched him super often, but I like his stuff. The few things that I have seen. Mosaic Comics, they just straight up review Green Lantern stuff all the time. Top says, take it from me. ISOM #1 was a decent comic, but nowhere near the hefty price tag. Take that 30 and buy the Ice Cream Man Deluxe Edition instead. Bro was munching and made me hungry. I've done that too. When you're hungry, you're hungry. Yo, Joel, you have a YouTube channel too, because I've seen your videos before. Mando all day. Armando, excuse me, because it's short for Armando. Comics, figures, collectible. Ooh, this Beyond the White Knight overview. I might have to check that out. Blake's Buzz, another person I've only know of because of Twitter, but I just like his branding. And now he does like PR for like a couple of like indie comics publishers. So if you're looking at like indie comics, like creator-owned stuff, he does a lot of interviews with people that are about their Kickstarters and stuff like that. But he also goes to cons and is not too shy to talk to people. Unlike me, that is my issue. When I go to cons, like I just straight up become a fan and forget that I'm supposed to be a YouTuber as well. Skeff's Comic Knowledge. He also does a lot of CGC stuff. So I haven't watched his stuff as much recently. Same with what is that dude's name? He wears a little bandana. I don't know. I might come to his channel. I don't know if I'm still subscribed to him or not. You Promised Me Comics is just a cool name, but I don't think I've ever watched their stuff. Brandon Likes Books, who apparently is not the same person as a comic book novice. Oh, he is now. It's different here, but not there. Interesting. Marcus. Oh, this is a different. Okay. This is my man Mad Dog Comics. I forgot he had two channels. Mad Dog, definitely another person in the community that I watched a ton of in my early days, and somebody who I consider a friend. Um, Taylor Talks Comics. Oh, this dude does stuff for cheap graphic novels now, which is very cool. The hardcover comic, Mike and Matt, who were doing a lot of like custom binds. I love watching their stuff as well. They're also OPB jabronis. They're sponsored by OPB as well. Joel the Geek. Told you I was subscribed to your channel. One thing is I don't watch nearly as much YouTube as I used to. Comic Man Andy. I've definitely, yes, I watch CMA stuff. He also does a lot of CGC stuff too. But yes. Do you have a copy of Static Rebirth of the Cool #1? I do. I am proud to say I have one copy, at least, of every milestone book published between 1993 and 1997. Rebirth of the Cool actually came out in the 2000s, but I do have that 4-issue miniseries as well. There are a few milestone things I don't have. Mainly posters, though, and just some little known things that I can't shout out because there's somebody. Furburst says, "Oh, cool, I was going to send you one." Man, I appreciate that. That's a hard book to get. I don't need one. I could be greedy and take another one because it's a great book. But yeah, man, no need. I appreciate it though. All right, let's get back to it. Man, Omni Nation Comics. Yo, so Omni, or not Omni Nation, Day Day, he is just such a great personality. He doesn't make videos as often as he used to, but man, it's this infectious personality. You can see it just in this little thumbnail preview right here. But my favorite thing that Omni Nation does is when he brings his niece Olivia onto the channel, and she basically goes through his omnibus hauls, but she calls them omnibus, and she like mispronounces stuff on purpose, and it's just the cutest thing. Anyway, shout out to my man Day Day. I promise I don't, maybe I'm not getting to the end of this list. The Comic Lounge, Ryan, who now works for IDW, which is cool. Ryan and his homie, I can't remember his friend's name, his co-host's name, but each week they go through their top books of the week. And then when there's not the top 10 books or top 5 books or whatever it is, Ryan is typically interviewing creators. He's got interviews with everyone you could think of. Todd McFarlane, Sarah Frazetta, like so many interviews. He interviewed Dennis Cowan a couple of times. He's interviewed Jeff Thorne. He's interviewed like everybody. I want to say he interviewed Bendis even. Very cool stuff. Let's see. Speaking of people who do great interviews, the Comics Cube with Dewey Tano. He's based in the Philippines. He really knows his stuff, and he gets really good interviews as well. The most recent one that I watched from him was his interview with Afua Richardson. But he's got a couple interviews with Jeff Thorne. He's got an interview with Shazam, with Mark Wade. Yeah, man. Bill Sienkiewicz a couple of times. Yeah, man. He's got great interviews. Blaine says, would you become an avid CGC collector? I've got a few slabs, but no. I buy comics to read them. There are books that I would like to have CGC'd, but like I'm kind of afraid to even like okay, never mind. I don't need to get up and go get it. My Ultimate Fallout 4, I've got it in one of those top loaders. I'm afraid to send it to CGC. All the books that I have that are slabbed, I bought them already slabbed. So I've got the first appearance of Damian Wayne. I've got Static number 8. It's a CBCS slab. I got a hardware slab that I traded for. Got a spawn slab. A lot of my slabs were like either gifts from the community or trades. Like I traded with somebody to get them. I'm kind of afraid to like try to even try to get the whole CGC thing. But to me, it feels like CGC is expensive and takes a lot of time. The only exception that I would make is if Dennis Cowan does another private signing event because I missed out on last year's because Heroes Con and money. But yeah, like those private signings, I think those are worth it. But by and large, like because I'm not a speculator, because I'm almost never selling any comics, it just doesn't make sense to make that investment into CGC stuff unless it's just a book that I really, really enjoy. The Omnibus Collectors Network, I don't really watch them as much. I don't even know if they do as much stuff anymore. And it's been 8 months since their last straight up video, but they do a lot of live streams still. Let's see. I already talked about Absolute Comics. Yo, Double A. Wonder where he's been. He used to do a lot of CGC stuff too. Just a Rican in his comics. I talked about him already. Look, man, I could do this all night. Comic tropes, great video analysis. Comic Bound, who is also in the UK over there with my man Marcus, Mad Dog Comics. He hasn't posted a video in a while, but he did a video about how to stretch your spine that was super helpful for me, and that's how I ended up subscribing to it. Yep, Omnibus Spine Stretching. Small Town Collectibles. I don't know if he's still posting stuff very often. He does. He's been doing dunks, he's been doing basketball content, all kinds of stuff. Comics and Crosses, doing reviews from a Christian perspective, which is really cool. Comic Drake, we talked about. AR Comics, we also talked about. Oh wait, we didn't talk about AR Comics. I like his new comic book day breakdowns. He's one of the ones, it's him and Comics with Bueller that actually will go through every publisher and say, hey, here's what book is coming out from them this week. I don't have the patience or dedication to do that. So that's why you got the pull list and not just, hey, here's every book that's coming out and here's what's going to be hot that you should grab. Every book, every variant. I can't do it. Wildebeard reviews. I hope he's doing okay. I know this dude also had a cancer diagnosis. I used to watch his reviews a lot because he was literally reviewing his actual comic books, which was really cool. And he had like a multi-camera setup. Yeah, man, I hope that dude's okay. Silver Kyle, he does omnibus reviews as well. And at the end of every video, he goes, beardage, and like puts his beard in the camera, which is just a funny thing to yell into a microphone. The Omnibus Collector, Riley. Riley is more a manga collector than an omnibus collector at this point. But I used to watch his stuff a whole lot when he was doing more like American Western comics. American Western. I guess that's two of the same thing. Well, no, you can be the West and not be in America. So anyway, I legit just went through all of my subscribing to shout out all these people that I just enjoy a lot. Just a Rican is great. I agree. No cap. I submitted something to CGC and got it back 2 years later. Haven't been back since. Yeah, there's no way. That's the other part. I was about to submit something to CGC and then I was like, I'm going to move in the time it takes for them to receive and grade my comic. And then what? I don't know. I'm nervous about all that. But yeah, those wait times sound insane. So that's wild. But yeah, man, I just wanted tonight to be a celebration of the community. So I'm really, really excited that you guys came through. Let me go back and make sure I'm subscribed to everybody that showed up here tonight. Bird, the nerd. Bet. Just subscribed. And yes, Comics with Bueller is great. Off topic, which omnis have you been reading? Only omni I'm reading right now is Green Lantern by Jeff Johns, Volume 1. I'm just as far along in it as I was 3 weeks ago, which is to say I'm on issue like 10 or so, whatever the 10th issue in that book was. I know they flipped between series a couple times. But I paused reading Green Lantern Volume 1 to read Murder Falcon because all right, the last time I asked Skip if he needed anything, his answer was, yeah, read Murder Falcon for me, bro. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm halfway in, and I feel like I kind of have an idea as to why he wanted me to read that book. I am not ready for the ending, I can assure you that. But I'm gonna push through and read it. Joseph Anderson, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing well. Mr. Anderson. What's the StreamYard link? I would like to join. You want to join the stream? I don't know who you are. No offense, my bad, man. I just like to have a little bit more control over those types of things. But yeah, man, what's up?
So in this game, your Geralt has the title of Tarnished. His roaches.
But yeah. So I stopped reading Green Lantern to pick up Murder Falcon. When I'm done with Murder Falcon, I'm going to go back to Green Lantern. After I finish with Green Lantern, then I'm going to read Astro City. And that's what my reading pile looks like outside of single issues monthly. Chris says, just finished a reread of Murder Falcon, and yeah, that ending will bring some tears, so be prepared. I'm not prepared. Chris, also another member of the comics community, that is an awesome person. Chris is my collecting partner. So last year I went to Heroes Con for the first time, and Chris graciously invited me to stay at his home and hosted me for Heroes Con. And so go to Heroes Con. Chris is my buddy. We're waiting in line. Like we are trading places in lines. Like I'm waiting in one line, he's waiting in another. We're trading books and so on. And then we get to this line. We waited in line for Chris Claremont, like basically all day, right? And then we go, there's also a huge line to meet Walt and Louise Simonson. But it turns out there wasn't just a line to meet Walt and Louise. There was a line to meet Walt and a line to meet Wheezy. And Wheezy's line was like two people, and Walt's line was the rest of them. And so at one point, we jumped out of Walt's line, went and talked to Wheezy, and she says to us, "What are you guys, collecting partners or something?" Because we're grabbing each other's books out of each other's bags, and it was just the funniest thing. So next year when I go to Heroes Con, I'm going with a shirt that says collecting partners, one for me and one for Chris, because that's our thing. Anyway, he has a podcast called World's Finest True Believers, where he and either a comic writer or another member of the community, basically he talks to them about their favorite book. Like he lets them pick a book, and he does all sorts of research. Like he'll research all these articles about the creation of that thing, and basically they review the book together. It's a great podcast on the Geek Ultimate Alliance network, if I did that right. Check it out. It's great. I need my man Chris to just start a YouTube channel. But in the meantime, you can find him on Instagram at Chris Balga. Anyone hitting up San Diego in a few weeks? I really want to, because I'm almost certain there's going to be a 30th anniversary milestone panel. But there's no way I'll make it into San Diego this year. or anywhere. I'm going out of the country at the end of August. I already like went on a vacation this year. I am maxed out on trips. So, and I don't do well being away from my kids. Like, that's something I learned about myself in the last 2 years. Like, even if they're good, I'm usually not. So, to be in California for a week without my family would be crazy, which means I got to get my money up so I can bring my family with me next time. Wheezy's the best. Yes, do it. I don't know what you're talking. What was the yes, do it for? But yeah, man. So listen, this has been a straight hour. Oh, going up to see. I grew up going to San Diego Comic Con. I definitely want to get out there one year. I don't know what year that would be. That's like a bucket list type thing. Like I want to go to San Diego at least once, and I want to go to New York Comic Con at least once. And I feel like the once is enough for me. Um, I am totally good if the only con I ever go to frequently is Heroes. Um, that's just how I feel about it. Chris says, "Thanks for the plug." Yeah, man, that's what we've been doing. That's what the whole show's been about: plugging dope people in the community. But with that said, we're an hour and a half in. I'm tired. My voice is tired, and you guys, hopefully, I just gave you guys some shout outs and some things to take a look at. Oh, I talked about Mad Dog. I did not actually show you Mad Dog's channel, but here's Mad Dog's channel. Mad Dog does a lot of like straight up deep dive reviews, which is cool. Like he's got a review on Infinite Crisis, most anticipated omnibus, comic hauls. One of his flagship shows is called Whale Watch, which is really cool. And he's like just looking at books based on sales trends that might go out of print that you should probably buy sooner than later. That's a really cool series. He also does like where to start reading Captain America, the best comics for beginners. This dude is a reading machine and has the best catchphrase in comics. Woof woof. Oh, here's the Murder Falcon review that I've been avoiding. All right. All right. That will change as your kids get older. Oh, me not wanting to be away from them? Yeah. Right now it sucks for me. NYCC is good about you. After your first year, I'd say do more panels. Otherwise, it's meh. Got you. Got you. But yeah, man, Mad Dog is legit. I agree with that. Um, so yeah, with all that said, I appreciate you all checking out the live stream. Super Loud Far says, thank you for spreading the comic book love. No problem. Thank you guys for spreading it to me. Look, I'm gonna get out of here. Um, I suck at signing off. I always forget how to sign off. But yeah, we got a lot of channels to check out. I don't know what channels you're gonna watch. I don't know what books you're gonna read, but whatever it is, hopefully it's something dope. That was a terrible sign off, but hey, there we go. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.